Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Cowling, and today I'm going to talk to you about my box story. This is a story that I want to tell because I think that it's a unique story and I think it's really interesting. Not many people could say they've gone through the same thing that I've been through. So, a little background information. In 1996, in China, there was still a one-child policy. So this was to prevent overpopulation. Obviously, people still had more than one child at that time. And so if someone had two children and one was a boy and one was a girl, the boy would always get chosen because the boy would be able to go up and provide for the family and expand the family, whereas the girl would just leave the family and become part of a different family. So, to begin my story, 1996, around September time, we're in the southeast of China, a place which, forgive my pronunciation, Fujian. I was born, and I was left in a box at a train station. This is a very public place. It's not something that you would usually think of a child to be left at. But I was a baby and I was left in a box with nothing, no food or money or clothes. The only upside to it is that it was a populated place. So I was found rather quickly and taken to an orphanage. But I often think back and wonder why they couldn't drop me at an orphanage or drop me at the doorstep of a house, maybe. I understand, obviously, there were different factors, and I've run through my mind many times different reasons why I was left at a train station. But anyway, so for 18 months, I was in an orphanage, and this orphanage was full of mainly girls because it was the girls who weren't often left. And I believe there weren't that many staff, the conditions there weren't that great, and obviously there were a lot of children, so not everyone was getting the attention they needed. And I mean, babies need a lot of attention, so it wasn't the best place to be. Um, and after the 18 months, I had two English people fly over to come and pick me up and take me away from a place that I thought was home at that time. So my parents, they're from England. They're both white. They've grown up there in England their entire lives. Um, and my mum was unable to have a child, so my parents wanted to adopt, and they wanted a little girl, so they decided to go to China for that. Um, and they went through the adoption process, and once they got through it, they got sent a picture of a child, and they could say either yes or no. But if they said no, they would get sent to the back of the line again to wait for another child. And they happened to say yes to me, which is great, honestly. Um, Obviously, adoption isn't always ideal, and it's sad that all these children get left in the system. But I think that it's nice to know that, unlike some biological children, I was picked and I was chosen. I know that I was wanted, which I think is a really awesome thing to know. Um, so they flew over after all of this had been finalized. They came for like 1 or 2 weeks, um, and they stayed with a translator, and they basically got to sightsee around China for a couple of weeks. They got to get to know me, understand what I'd been through. They visited the orphanage. They found out about my history. Um, and after that, they took me home to England, which I was in England for about 16 and a half, 17 years of my life until I came to America, obviously. But I wanted to tell this story because I thought it was an interesting and unique story, and I'm not ashamed of it. I actually often like to joke to the friends that do know about this story. I like to make box jokes because I think it's funny making them feel uncomfortable because they think that I might feel uncomfortable, but obviously I wouldn't make those jokes if I did feel uncomfortable. And I just think it's funny to make lighthearted of the situation, because obviously this could be a really bad and really like sad story, but it's part of who I am, and I like to make light of things. I don't think that it was a bad thing. Obviously, it wasn't the best situation, but what came out of it was great in my opinion, and my parents saved me. So that is my box story. Thank you for listening.